Good evening, Banger Racing fans, and welcome to episode 60 of Cage Full Throttle. I'm Ed Fahey. Over the next hour or so, we'll be catching up with all the action from the beginning of the summer, and some serious meetings occurred with plenty more to come over the next month. Of course, the sun's out, so let's go racing. But before we do all that, let's introduce our two panellists for this evening. We were meant to have three. We were meant to have our beloved leader, founder, and guidance counsellor, Matt Josie, but he decided he just couldn't take the pressure of episode 60, so he's out. So we'll get him back in for episode 61, which will be the 61st episode special with featuring Matt Josie. Well, I think we'll do that anyway. But anyway, let's look at the two brave panellists we have here this evening. He's a special guest panelist for today, but he's very welcome. He's making the tea. It's Liam.
Hello. It's just normal insults for Matt, really, isn't it?
Pretty much so. I mean, you've been thrown into the deep end with a blindfold with your hands tied behind your back. So, Liam Horner, you're very welcome. And of course, in the other corner, it's James Keane.
Oh, sorry there, Ed. I'm technically on my side there with my microphone. Yeah, no, I'm here. No, thanks. Yeah, it's great to be back after 4 weeks. There's been so much going on, and we've all barely had a chance to catch our breath. But it is good to be back. It's good to be back here broadcasting with you. Less good to be broadcasting with Liam. I spend enough time with him around at tracks. I don't need to have him on my podcast as well. No, but in all seriousness, it's really good to be back. Thanks to everyone listening, and cheers, Liam, for coming on. Pretty late notice, but you're probably, you're as close. Yeah, if we're all Cage brothers and sisters, you're the half brother that we see at Christmas. So we're always happy to have you around.
I'm just the adopted one that's picked up.
Well, that's it. I mean, the dad of the family, Mr. Josie, decided to run away. So, come back, Matt. We miss you. Or not. Will we miss him? I don't know. Well, that's a debate for another time, really. But he has been busy in the meantime. We've close to, I think it's 60 bookings now for the caged 1800cc Back to Basics Open at Ring with Cheetahs on the 22nd of August. So just under 3 weeks away. So it's time to get building and get booked in if you haven't, and if you intend racing, of course. But we'll move on because we've quite a lot to talk about. And unfortunately, yes, as James alluded to at the start, was a rather serious incident at the weekend where a marshal was tragically lost their life. We always say that motorsport is dangerous. That's what the big sign says on the way into every single track, whether it's Silverstone for the Formula One or it's Birmingham wheels for a bit of banger racing. But there is always a sign there that says motorsport is dangerous. So unfortunately, these things happen. We're thankful that they don't happen more often. Obviously testament to the safety systems and all that that's been brought in. There's just so much to talk about, really, but all we can say really is our deepest condolences to his family and his friends and anyone who's been affected by it, really. But we'll move on to the meetings that have been happening in the last month. Jake, you've been watching plenty of BWS and you've been marshalling on plenty of them as well. Any particular highlights?
Ed, did you just call Liam Jake? And I think that's why you've got confused.
No, I didn't. I called him Liam.
It's the...
That sexy accent, isn't it?
Well, I'm saying nothing. So
Queen,
BWS rounds. Yeah. Didn't really see a lot at Arlington on the 21st of July. It was quite dusty,
what did you see that was exciting?
Bangers actually crashed.
That's a start. BWS round with contact as opposed to with full contact as opposed to push and shoving. It's a start, isn't it?
It is a bit of a start, but it was normally at Eastbourne we have the final round, so it's normally a big crash fest. But everyone's trying to get the points, they're trying to get the wins, they're trying to get the positions. So it wasn't as crashy, it was more roddy. But other than that, there were some good cars that turned up. I mean, Jack Filmer's XK8, was it?
Yep, Jaguar XK8. Yeah, first for the sport. He did all right with it too.
Oh, he definitely. It was quick, from what I saw of it. Anyway.
So it was a blur. It was going that fast. You didn't see much of it.
Oh, it was at lightning speed. It was almost like watching Tron. All I saw was the Tron lines.
Yeah.
Well, it lines up yeah. I mean, I think we've all seen the dust as well, Liam. I mean, how did you cope down there by the end of it? You must have thought you were marshalling that shale track.
Well, yeah, it almost felt like I was back at Northampton or Milton Hall. But it's one of them things that can't be helped. But other than that, it was a really good meeting. Good few people put in. the bumpers.
Yeah, I mean, the BWS rounds so far have been really good, actually. Obviously, we've got another one coming up this weekend, which we're looking forward to, which we'll talk about shortly. But the BWS rounds on a whole have been good the whole way through. We hope to have Jake here tonight, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get home in time to be on the show. And he'd also been at the Hensford and Milton Hall rounds, which were also amazing by all accounts. But a lot of comments will be said about the dust. I've watched it back on Speedway TV, and the dust was bad. But that is a problem you get at Arlington because of the way the track is, with the concrete slabs and the shale track on the inside. I briefly spoke to Gavin Botfield after Aldershot after it, and he said it's really difficult. He said if the drivers didn't dive the shale so much, maybe it wouldn't have been so easy. They can't put the sweeper on in between. Me and you have swept that track. It's a bloody nightmare to sweep. You can't get the dust off that track once it's on there.
No, you can't. I think the way that the track's organised, so on a Monday the sweeper comes in, and unfortunately the sweeper came in. Weather conditions were perfect when the sweeper came in, and then Monday night the heavens literally just opened and the sweeper coming in was like a chocolate teapot.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't realise as well is that that track's rented by Speedworth from the Eastbourne Eagles, who are responsible for track maintenance, up to basically about 2 hours before start, 1 hour before practice. And there's not a lot of time to get the stock car track prepped. Now, I know I obviously wasn't working that night, but you were. It's all hands to the pump. It's really difficult. By the time you get the wires in, the pit gate sorted, fire extinguishers out, you're left with minimal time to get the rest of it sorted, and it's difficult. But on a day like that as well, it's just everything conspired to that. But in between the dust and everything else, the drivers did put on a really good show. Who actually won the wild card in the end, Liam? I'm sure you. Well, if you could see from the pit corner.
Oh God, I can't remember. Honestly, I know it was only a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but it slipped my mind. I can't remember.
Hold on 1 second. It was.
It was the bloke that crossed the line first.
He's really good, actually. He's a great driver, that guy. Wish he could be as cool as him.
Just so you all know, this is why we trust Liam with flags and not lap scoring sheets. The winner was actually number 327, Mickey Maskell Jr., former world champion, if that helps. And so it'll be good to see him.
I knew it was Mickey Maskell.
But it will be good to see him. And if you actually watch the final, the battle with Shane Davis in Kingsnorth, and then Shane Davis in the showdown as well, put in an absolute battle to take the win in the end from 528 Jethro, and it was really good racing the whole night. There's a mixture of hits and racing. We all know that national bangers and limited BWS rounds will maybe sometimes edge a little bit more towards the older racing side, but in the Constellation there was actually only 4 cars classified, and the Constellations have repeatedly been the standout race, because I think once drivers don't get through, they think, well, if I'm not winning the Constellation, this is my last. I might as well go out in a bit of style here. There was a bit of a argy-bargy on the middle. The Midnight Runner car of 84, Jack Ansell, the Booglers were getting involved. Joey were having a little bit of argy-bargy on the middle. I heard they all got a bit of a slap on the wrist from the race steward of the night, but it was seen as nothing dangerous, but at the same time, just a slap on the wrist did it. But I mean, so that's round 3. Round 4 is coming up. I can't wait. I think we're gonna preview that later. It'll be my first BWS round of the year, actually, so I'm pretty excited.
That's good.
Rookie.
Yeah, I was going to say, exciting's what we need in racing. We're getting it by the book about, ladies. So that's good. So that's all you have to say, really, about the Arlington BWS then, Liam, yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the fact that it was the first meeting back as well after COVID restrictions fully lifted, like seeing a full crowd back on the bend with no face masks, it was, just like a big sigh of relief of we're actually back to normal.
Yeah, the drone shots looking over the pit bend. Oh, They're really good. Like, not only because the drone shots always look dramatic, pretty much no matter what happens, but it was really good. And I think just seeing in our chat box, one of our clerks of the course, Dave McKinnon, Eddie, he's like you, but a bit more northern from your accent. So it means that occasionally we have to ask for a translation down the radio. Sorry, Dave. He's just brought up he's just brought up that photo of you sitting on the barrier, just looking like you're waiting to see the cars.
Just waiting for a mate.
Yeah, nice little relaxing moment. Or was that just so you could push some dust out your eyes?
No, I think that I was waiting to actually sort the arm co out, but because the cars were coming out on track, you have to jump off the track.
When I was talking about how much preparation, has to go into Eastbourne. That's also something else that I don't think people realise. How much, because of the way the wall is at Eastbourne and the way the arm goes bolted in, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, Gavin said he would love to make it the same wall as we have at Aldershot, but it would cost nigh on £250,000. The way the iron coat is, it's constantly having to be replaced, and as our overalls and my knees will testify to, it's difficult with the bolts and the way the Armco is. So, but from everything I've heard, I mean, you can't help the dust as we've been over, but another great BWS round, and well done to you and the guys. So yeah, you and all the other marshals, the clerks of the course, the stewards, everyone in the pits, everything, because it sounded like an absolute classic Eastbourne Wednesday.
It was brilliant. I've even got a new injury to my overalls to show you on Sunday.
Oh, go on. Do we get a hint?
If it's in the crotch, I don't want to see it.
It's not there. No, I've got a holy pocket. Jesus made it.
Whereabouts?
On the leg.
On the leg. So we get to see a bit more leg. So we get to see a bit more leg than normal, then, do we?
Oh, yeah. It's getting to the summer months, isn't it? You've got to get some air to your legs.
So your parents would be like, put a longer skirt on before you go out, not going out looking like that, is it?
Ed, you're not meant to tell everyone. It's only at weekends, man.
And it's my job as Cage Meister to inform the masses of what
So, another comment from the chat box from Dave McKinnon. Liam Corner doing work, never.
I do it well. I do well at not doing work.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That's
See, this is why you join the Orange Army, folks. It's just so much crack to be had. Never mind waving flags and putting out fires and looking cool in your orange overalls. There's the sheer amount of abuse that you take. All good natured, of course. I think
it's a case of Liam will watch my back. I'll do sweeping most of the time.
Also, Liam's your wingman, is he?
He's more my little.
Liam's my wingman.
Skivvy.
Liam's my wingman. I'm his broom man.
Yeah, boy.
Broom bow. Broom bro.
No, but honestly, if anyone's, we've done a special on marshalling before with Liam, and we've said that. I think, not to take it too down, but we started the show with the tribute, and we know motorsport is dangerous, but marshalling is one of the best jobs in the world, especially as a volunteer job. We know it can be dangerous, as this is highlighted in, but it really is one of the best jobs in the world. We are like a family. It is really good. We take the mickey out of each other all the time, the whole way through, but it is like a family, and so me and Liam have become really, really good mates through marshalling, and I know that a lot of other people have met some of their best mates they'll ever have through it. And between green flag to red flag, we are all business, but then in between races, we mainly take the mickey out of Liam's head. It's brilliant.
Is that a hairline joke?
It was.
Film the love and all, that's the main thing. But we'll move on. Well, first, our correspondent Jake wasn't able to make it this evening, even though I thought he was very briefly there. But Milton Hall Granada meeting, which is a couple of weeks back, I'd say we're looking at an early candidate for meeting of the year in this one. Now, obviously, due to the beauties of the internet and social media, there's plenty of videos and comments going on about it. Of course, a lot of the comments through Oval Chat, which is good and bad. It has its good points and its bad points. But I mean, the meeting itself looked absolutely fantastic and pretty much blew the other Granada meeting that's been held this year clean out of the water, because good cars, good driver discipline, and good racing. Basically, looks at at least one race went to a full track block, which was good. People were up for the crash too. Obviously, being all Granadas, they weren't there to save that car for next week. Doing all their best to kill it. Like Jonesy, Andrew Jones was on a mad one the whole time, doing what he does best, crashing the car, wrecking it, pulling it back out, getting it going again. So I think we might just basically see one of the meetings of the year. And judging from the photographs of the cars at the end, I don't think one car left home straight about it. Guys, have you seen any of the footage online or and to say about it?
Yeah, I've seen a few videos. It did look like a really good meeting. I can't remember what. I think I was at work the day that was on. So yeah, I mean, otherwise I would have gone, but it was the bee's knees of a meeting. As horrible as it is to see a Granada get smashed to smithereens, but they're the ones that do bring in the crowd, they bring in the drivers, and they bring in the material that everyone wants to see. So yeah, I mean, it did look like a really good meeting.
Yeah, and I've watched it back. Milton Hall's such a perfect track for those sort of meetings, isn't it? Next year we got the Ford. Next year we got a bit of a change. Now we got the Ford Frenzy. I mean, meeting calendar allowing. I mean, I'd love to be there for that because, I mean, Milton Hall's such a perfect track for these old school meetings because it's on the shale, which slows things down, so you don't have the ridiculous speeds in older cars. It's perfect for spectators. The viewing's fantastic all around. It's got brilliant fish and chips. I'm not sure how much that matters, but that does matter. It does. It's such a perfect track for these old school meetings. I mean, we've seen it with the Kingy meeting, we've seen it with this meeting, and we'll see it again next year. And it's just really good for everything about it. The atmosphere and the track just lends itself to be perfect for these old school type meetings.
Well, that's it. I mean, the Ford Frenzy for next year, I think. Well, they haven't fully decided on the format yet, but it's going to be all Granadas, and then the other favourite blue oval brand, all Cortinas and Capris. So I can see a lot of drivers bringing two, maybe even three cars to that. Basically Granada for one day and either Cortina or Capri for the other day. I mean, somebody might brave it in a Sierra if they let them in, but they don't. The Sierras don't seem to work as well against other cars, so we probably won't see any of them. But plenty of Cortinas and Capris would be good here. All the Pintos and the Crossflows going for one last spin. I mean, like I was saying in our Hall of Fame special, I mean, this was my year. When I get into bangers first, it was wall to wall Granadas or wall to wall Capris and then Cortinas. So but like going back to the good old days for me, when life was a little bit less simpler. It wasn't working at the time, still in school and all that. So just didn't know how life was going to fall out for me. But yeah, it should be good. I mean, it's great that we're planning for 2022 already. It's always the case of looking forward to the next one. So like James was saying, Milton Hall on the shale, rear-wheel drive cars, older cars too. That'll take a review, should be good. And another meeting to look forward to Milton Hall 2022 will be the Kev Waller Memorial meeting. It's going to be a 2-day meeting as well. And I think it's going to be pre-75. I think, again, they're still working on the finer details of it. But it'll be another good meeting to look forward to. Look at that, I'm so excited again. I'm tripping out myself again.
No, but absolutely, again, I think, Ed, like you said, that Milton Hall lends itself perfectly to these sort of meetings. And the reason it does
it's just the fact that...
Well, it also... It's shale, so it slows the cars down. It's a tight track. The corners make up a lot of the track. The straights are short, and the viewing's good. And the fact that drivers have always loved it is why it's used for these. Why it's used for the memorial meetings. I mean, I think it was one of the King family said why. Obviously, King's local track would have been Arlington, but his favourite was always Milton Hall. That's why it was held there, and. Because it's the favourite of the more old school style of banger driving is also why it's the favourite of people watching as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a good track too because you're right on top of it. You're not miles away like at some tracks. Yeah, I mean the drivers like it, the promoters like it. It's just everyone seems to like it. It's easy enough to get to as well. So it's just one of those tracks you could nearly call it the perfect package. But we'll move on. James Keane, your favourite track being a man from Birmingham. With more updates from Birmingham Wheels.
We have, after... how many times are you going to go on this roller coaster? Last 2 years it's been a case of Birmingham Wheels is in trouble, we need to get behind it. The exiting of Birmingham Wheels has been saved. Race quit, Pete Gould, we're doing it under the PRI band. And again, the council have looked into their bag of excuses and pulled out Japanese knotweed. The quotes they got why it's not sustainable seem ridiculous, given a lot of people, given the range of people in our sport. We've had a few people who are involved in this sort of thing say that quote's ridiculous. We could come and do it for cheaper. It just seems like another excuse at this point, because it goes both ways. Right? I come from Birmingham. I know the area really well. It's a former industrial area that has been very down-pressed since the 90s, and they probably want to flatten the whole thing and restart it. The issue with that is, in the middle of the area they want to flatten and restart is one of the only inner-city motorsport venues left, especially since Bellevue's gone. There's nothing like Birmingham Wheels left. In the second city of the country, it's like with Wimbledon, right? In the capital, we had, towards the middle, about as close you're going to get in London, a track in the middle, and they wanted to flatten it to start that whole area again. The same thing's happening with Birmingham, except this time the council have pulled an excuse out of somewhere, I'm going to let you guess where, and said Japanese knotweed. And yet again, we're in the position where we're trying to save a track. Now, PRI, well, the new PRI, Race Quit, Pete Gould PRI, are arranging a open day of formulas where anyone can go in for free, anyone can take their cars, and just basically like a demonstration day at the track. Council officials have been invited, so the more that are available to get down there, to go and watch or take their cars down, the better, because it's just going to show what a range it is, right? Birmingham Wheels will always have a special place in my heart, because that's where I fell in love with this sport as a 6-year-old going down there. By 7-year-old, I had a small version of every flag and stood behind the starters, jongled and dangled with I had little post-it notes with lap boards on, standing behind them, pretending to start, and that's where I fell in love with marshalling, and that's how it got me into the sport. I know people from the estate I grew up in that's how they got involved in motorsport. They started in in-car rods or mini stocks and got in. In a city like Birmingham, which has a range from very rich people to highly deprived areas, Birmingham Wheels provides a place where everyone can get involved in motorsport. And for the rest of the park, you've got the go-kart track where we've had current Formula One world champions learning their trade there. It's the only one of its kind since Bellevue and Wimbledon have gone, where we've got a motorsport venue that can attract the range of motorsport it's got, and it's now under risk again. So anyone, right to every Birmingham MP there is in the area, in every ward, right to the council, sign petitions, support it, because I think losing Birmingham Wheels now would be huge for the sport after it's been saved. Because this, if we can't save it now, then the only tracks that'll be left, it'll be ones where so far out of the way that there is no one left to complain about it and no councils to interfere. And what'll be next? Kesgrave will come after Ipswich, and we really have to everyone get behind this now. And I'm saying that as well selfishly. Birmingham Wheels is where I started in this sport, and I don't want to see it go.
No, that's fine, James. You know as well. I didn't really lead in with this is bad news, because I mean, like you saying, roller coaster. I'm wishing everyone well, but the way things are going, you think what's happening lately, and especially with Birmingham Wheels, in 2 months' time to be something else going on. Would you agree?
I mean, it's difficult to say. Like, apparently there's been speculation of Arlington going for God knows how many years now. I think a lot of it, like James has said, it's just councils trying to come up with excuses because they want to build X amount of houses, or they want to build this, they want to build that. I don't know. It's difficult to say, but we don't want to see any track go at the end of the day. I mean, I've never been to Birmingham, but for all the Northerners, Birmingham is obviously a big track.
Birmingham is not in the north, Liam. How many times?
Well, it's
anywhere above the M25 is north.
I was going to say it's north of the Watford Gap, even though it's in the Midlands.
So, Liam, you think Birmingham's in the north? I'm not having that.
Well, you should really, James, because I don't understand what you're saying.
No,
sorry. Adam Leslie's joining.
Okay, I've already caught changed out once to my lovely Birmingham accent. I'm not going to do it again. But no, getting some more serious parts for James. I mean, the way this roller coaster's been going, we're on a down now at the moment. But do you reckon in 2 months' time we're going to be on an up again?
Yeah, I mean, well, with the way that it's been going, and if so many people are saying that they can get rid of the knotweed and any other excuse that Birmingham City Council come out with next, I think that everyone behind Birmingham Wheels will just have an argument and be like, well, we can do this.
Yeah, it might be.
We can do that.
I tell you what, it might be a case of, right, I think the thing is that if they evict it, because it's a restricted area, because it's under Birmingham Council have said it's a restricted area for wheeled leisure. That's what it's called, Birmingham Wheels. That's why it's got rollerblading, all the other stuff. If they move it to do something else with it, they've got to find another place for this thing, which they're not going to do. But if they get rid of it, if they can end the lease because it's unviable and unrentable, I've just done air quotes and I've just realised I'm audio only. No one else can see those. So air quotes unviable and air quotes unrentable. Then they don't have to do that. They can just end the lease. And I think the only way, I think it happened before. I think I was surprised with the amount of outpouring, and I suppose they want to see if that's going to happen again. And the only way it's going to be stopped is to do that. I think we'll probably put something up on Caged again. I mean, we have been sharing the petitions, but I've been speaking to. Obviously, I'm from Birmingham originally. I've been speaking to the MP for Birmingham Erdington and getting him to write questions into the council, which they have to answer as an MP. I think if we can all do that, anyone that can do that, write into their Birmingham MP and ask them to ask the council why this is happening. That'll add a lot of pressure onto it as well.
Yeah.
Could I send in a question? Do you all own Teslas? Is that why you don't like racing?
Yeah, we'd all be wearing electric gloves in 3 years, Liam, when we go to a car.
Well, I mean, I've driven a Tesla. It's very nice. I've driven a G-Wiz. Less said about that. I've driven a Leaf. It's in between. But no, I mean,
this week on the electric car roundup, what Ed drove.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've already seen one Prius hit the track, so we're on a good tangent here. So we'll be doing well to see a few more of them.
Yeah, that was Keefe, wasn't it? Aldershot, Keefe at Aldershot, and he put in.
It was his brother, wasn't it, Gary?
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, I think it was. You're right. I knew it was a 3.
And the reason I remember that is because I think the first time I came onto Caged, it was one of my quiz questions. So yeah, there's how much of a nerd I can be when I want to be.
Yeah, I mean,
silence by saying that.
yeah. Well,
does that mean that the title of Full Throttle is going to have to change as well soon to Fully Charged?
Yeah, Cage.
No, it'll be fly-by-wire throttle.
Yeah, Cage.
No, I mean,
Cage traction converter.
Look, we're not. Like I know climate change and all that is always on the agenda, but I mean, fire racing's all about fun, so we're to have as much fun as possible, and we're not really here to talk about the green brigade, really. We're here to talk about the orange brigade. But no, James, I mean, we've been here before, Birmingham. So do you think we're going to be here again, or
it's hard to say, Ed. I mean, I think it's something always a lot of people forget is that there are very few promoters that own their tracks. I mean, off the top of my head, the only one I can think is Dean and Milton Hall Stadium. The rest are all rented. While that's the case, things are always going to be up and down. But let's end this on a positive. Odsal reopened, and no one saw that coming. So we might see. So I'll talk about inner city stadiums. Obviously, Odsal's on the edge of Bradford, and you've still got Arlington at Sheffield as well. So maybe I was being a bit flippant by thinking Birmingham's so big compared to the others. But at the same time, I mean, at least we're seeing stadiums reopen as well. So on a positive note, let's have that. Oh, and also, so one of the chat doctors said Dover. I'm sorry, I don't actually know the location of Dover. I must admit, I've never been down there. If that's close to the middle as well, that's great. But
Dover's in Kent.
So that's in the south, right?
Southeast.
This week on Geography for Beginners is Liam Horner.
This week
So,
on...
if you look to the bottom right of the map here of the United Kingdom, you'll find Dover.
There I was out where the White Cliffs are.
Apparently so.
Apparently, Ed, I've heard a rumour that White Cliffs of Dover are in Dover, but that could just be like to throw people off the scent.
I mean, there are also White Cliffs in Eastbourne. Just saying. Just going to throw that into the mix as well.
I think we've got a bit off topic.
We have.
And the Gallagher brothers have caged James and Liam a little bit, I think. We'll move on to the next thing. And funny enough, it is one of the Gallagher brothers. That's it. I won't say which Gallagher brother it is because I haven't actually decided who's Liam and who's Noel. The fact
I'm Noel. I'm Noel.
Liam,
I'm Noel because I've got the hair. Liam's Liam because his name's Liam.
I mean, it's a bit of a... Anyway.
I'm sure I'm not Jake.
That's it. No, you're Liam. Actually, Noel, James, we need to get him this one on a bit more often, I think. Because he's way more funny than Matt Josie is, anyway.
No, exactly. I've listen, like it's been my pleasure to get to know Liam over the last few years. We did this. He's often like this, and that's why we love and hate him in equal measures. That's
good. I mean, at least you can look at him. That's the thing. It's not a case of we have to look at him. There you go.
Only with sunglasses on if the sun's out.
Or really? Weldon Matt.
No, it's a forehead joke, Ed. Apparently, I've got the largest forehead in Speedworth.
Well, you haven't seen mine yet in person, so I don't know about that. But
my forehead's still on the way home from work.
Okay, well, Liam has fairly well stuck in the grass in this section, so we'll get the tractor to pull us out onto the next one. And funny enough, it's Liam again. You've an update on the Goldrush meeting for us.
So yeah, we've had the Yarmouth Gold Rush, Milton Hall Gold Rush. That again was a really good meeting. Surprisingly, Joey Reynolds, who was top favourite, didn't actually finish the Gold Rush. So that was a shock. But fair play to him, Keith, and Jack, who all changed his rear axle to get back out after. Got to give hats off to them. I don't actually know who won Milton Hall Gold Rush. It was that long ago. And then, we then went to Ipswich. Gold Rush didn't unfortunately finish there. They had to be called off early due to a driver injury. Have heard news as well that he is okay and he did manage to walk away. So that was good news, which then carried over to Yarmouth. Yarmouth then had that was on Sunday, the first two across the line in the Gold Rush, if they hadn't already qualified, then qualified for the World Final grid. And from memory, it was 330 Tyler Wilkin and number 3 Harley McCarthy. And I'll tell you what, Harley can drive. He was on rails on Sunday in that car. And
yeah, Harley McCarthy's one of those drivers for a while that has been... It's clear the skill he's got in that car.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, just help you out there. The Bangers Gold Rush at Milton Hall was run by number 7 Josh Mackey. He finished in a 521, Jack Cody, and 85 Nathan Thurlow.
See, this is why you're the facts person. I just say I went and changed a few wheels.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously you've been going to quite a lot of Gold Rush events because obviously you're very good friends with Steve Turner, Milky Bar. He's been getting on really well, hasn't he? I mean, the points haven't been updated yet, but he's got to be on the grid, hasn't he, at Ipswich?
I mean, if he doesn't get on the grid, I'll probably take him back down to Vision Express and get those glasses changed so that he can see a bit better.
I mean, he's been looking really good. He looked. So we had a points going around at Aldershot as well. I mean, he got on pretty well there, didn't he? I think he finished in the points at least in a couple of races.
On the most recent one.
Did he not? Right, okay.
No, steering rack problems after, surprisingly, he won't mind me saying this, he hit a parked car.
Oh, well, it's better than just ending your race on turn 1 in the first heat, isn't it, Liam? Anyway,
I don't know anyone that's done that.
No, I think the 1600s actually, I thought they've been pretty good this season. I mean, we said before at the podcast at the start of the year there was a bit of a downturn in the 1600s. I don't know if it's maybe been the break for COVID that people have been able to get their cars together for it. And obviously, your 1600 banger lasts a few meetings. There's no DDs at those events, but I think they've really picked up. The one we had at Aldershot was really good. We had a few great followings, didn't we? As well. Was it Little Harvey who ended up in the
Little Harvey? Yeah,
Little Harvey ended up his foot where I was on the next marshal post down. Instantly, Baz put his flag up, and I went to, "Oh, is he all right? What happened?" Is like, well, he was sitting in the other side of the car, so I thought I better stop the race.
Yeah, he's luckily he's all right, and he's walking. I saw him yesterday
I mean,
at Eastbourne.
I think the injury was worse than he thought actually, because he got out of the car and he was a bit hurt, and I think he went and checked. I think didn't he? There was a bit of a problem to his bones, but it was in the end okay. But all drivers actually afterwards said that. There was basically a few followings going in, but it was all done in the right spirit as well. And the 1600s have really picked up this season. It's in the past, it's been really good in East Anglia. There's always been a really good subscription to that formula in East Anglia, and it's now this season on the South fixtures. They've also been really good as well. So hopefully a bit of an upturn for the 1600s. We'll see how it goes going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And as Chris has just said as well, a big shout out to Lauren Annetts for not making the car last longer than one meeting. It is a speciality of hers.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think I said to Lauren the other day, it's like, how did you manage to go that long without putting it into reverse? I mean, it's definitely...
Yeah, she definitely does love that R gear, doesn't she?
So Chris Davis, obviously part of that team, has just said Lauren still can't get more than 1 meeting out of a car, even though it is 1600. So fair play. So Lauren, of course, the winner of the first Driver of the Year award in the cage votes, mainly because of her attitude to banger racing, which is exceptional.
At least it wasn't for reversing out onto me then.
Yeah. Well, because obviously me and you obviously marshal turn one on the back straight, and it's usually that's exactly where we're sitting there waiting. All right, Lauren, let's get this over with. We're just there.
Yeah. That's it. And I've usually got a dad behind me waving, go and shouting, go now, go now, go now. So it's I'll get on with them quite well. And
yeah, no, great.
Have a bit of a laugh.
Absolute asset to the sport. All of those guys, and obviously with James Friston Turkish as well, he's some driver. I mean, I think at the start of the year, first meeting of the year as we came back, he took a couple of trophies home. He's some driver as well.
Believe it or not, he used to crash.
Yeah, I think he got the Joey bug after getting a few trophies. I think that got a bit addictive, but he does know how to have a crash. You gotta say that.
Yeah, I know. I've been on the tail end of one.
Yeah, you have actually, haven't you? Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're just getting news in. Actually, a meeting that's on right now. Actually, at Yarmouth, Carlton Limousine literally cut in half. So we might just have a wreck of the year already. I think, guys.
This is the most up to date we've ever been. Live on radio, we can give an update.
Yeah, a meeting that's actually happening. So yeah, be thankful for weekday meetings. Because imagine trying to do this podcast at the weekend. This wouldn't happen, would it?
Well, no, because we'd all be at the track.
I was going to say, unless me and James can do it from the wall, and you hear every now and then yeah, I mean, we could do that.
I'd keep you on your toes, wouldn't you? Look out, man, it's heading straight for us.
Yeah.
That's it, Bryson the brickworker, the driver's leader. He's some fantastic photographs.
Thanks for that, Rick. They'll be up on the Cage Facebook page as soon as we're able.
Pretty much now, actually, if I can multitask, which I'm quite good at. Yeah, we'll move on to our next meeting preview. James, you're looking at Aldershot BWS.
We are, and it'll be my first BWS meeting of the year. It's round 4. I'll be there with my sticks and fabric. And it's looking good again. 82 cars booked in, and you don't need many cars to have a good race round Aldershot. And a lot of the BWS circus are there. including the reigning champion 217 Sid Madrid, who has carried that gold roof with some pride this year already. It was cut down a bit, obviously, to begin with, but he's been here, there, and everywhere, and he's been really good. We've also got some other big names coming in. We've got Oris Karkazowski, he's going to be there, another former champion. We've got Runa and Boogie there booked in, Sean Breaker, Carl Sauter, another former champion in Mickey Maskell, 328 Ben Nichols, the winner of the I suppose it was a newcomer of the year last year, because he's always wanted to go out there impressing. 341 Andrew Jones is obviously never too far away from a crash. Jack Reynolds on his home track, he'll either be there to impress or he might see the lap board of the number one, and we know he can get around there quickly when he needs to. Harry Over, he's put in some good ones. Lennon Phillips had a good. You got the Crittenden, Ricky Finney, Nathan Roberts. You've got we also got Jethro Allen Hunt. We've got Jordan Cumming, obviously another former gold top with his track star roof. Joey Reynolds again on his home track. I mean, how fast he is around there, depending on how the grid starts. I mean, would you ever back against him? You got the Filmers. It's looking really good already. Aaron Charles, a former Caged Open winner. David Wild, we saw him there in the Historics last time, but he'll be out there in his banger, and he's always there at the Caged Opens. And of course, who can forget one of the best entertainers on the circuit with one of the most ridiculous haircuts, 162 the Viking, Brent Shaw. Turkish Phil Milner, PJ Collins, Bodger Pete Osborne is enjoying his bangers again, and he was good out at Arlington, and I'm sure he'll be good again at he'll be there good at Aldershot. Aston Burt, who was one of the most amazing drivers at the Caged Open, won the Entertainers Award basically by the end of lap 2. He's there. He's never one to shy away. It's just looking really good. It'll be a mixture of racing, but there'll be action. There will be a lot of action.
I mean, one to watch as well might even be Lee Strodwick. I mean, 2016? Rookie World. He won, and he didn't expect it.
Yeah, yes. Again, yeah. I mean, I realised halfway. Oh, you can forget as well. 158 Shane Davis, who was so good out at Eastbourne. He'll be obviously such a famous name as well. And everyone, he'll probably put in his fair share of crashing and probably put in a decent performance on there. Liam Lake as well. Obviously, he's already booked his place on the World Final Grid after winning the BWS round already. And also, now a gold top, isn't he? He's Auto Speed World Champion. So that's another world champion that'll be there. At this point, I'm reading out the list because we've got to that point where you've got Callum Reid. I mean, you can just read out the list. Callum Reid, Jack Deacon. I mean, I could just go through the whole list and could say why each driver could be the one to watch. And I think this is why it's going to be brilliant.
BWS is always a good show at Aldershot as well.
At Aldershot, it has been. Yeah. I mean, the last one we had at Aldershot was in the horrific pouring rain, and we had Adam Maxwell going into the back of Scott Cornish, and there's still, even in the most ridiculous pouring rain, you had the Bears and the runners going at it. I actually can't see any runners booked in for this one, but it's not about team racing. It doesn't really matter what the team is. There's enough names there that this is going to make this one a bit special. And I said BWS rounds have really picked up now. There was a bit of a joke about it being door rubbing, but I don't think it is that anymore. It is we've always said on this show about it's not just about the crashes all the time, banger racing. As it says, number one in the rules, the idea is to win the race by either stopping your opponent or completing the most laps, and that is what the BWS has now become.
You get your crashing.
Yeah, you get crashing. Yeah, and you'll see the races with the clever bits of racing. People really clever bits of racing, backing off the back markers, hitting at the right time, and I'm excited. Are you excited, Liam?
Oh, I'm just excited to be working and waving flags with you again, James. To be honest.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the one thing that's not on the booking list. Yeah, I'm sure, Liam, you are the only person in the world that's excited that I'm going to be there, as opposed to all those names. But thank you very much.
Well, someone's got to be excited to see you, James.
Yes, that is true. That is true, and I'm sure my girlfriend Sarah would agree.
Well, this is it. I mean, we were saying earlier on about BWS. It's all about the prize, really, isn't it? You know, you will get, if you do well, you clock up the points either as a racer or an entertainer. You will get onto the World Final Grid Ipswich. But some people might say it's diluted the racing, but I think it's just we need to get used to it because it's the it's the modern face of racing. Really, you know, we love the pre-meetings, the classic car meetings, but you know, this is the modern racing. You know, it's like saying with circuit motorsport.
They should be. Those meetings should be the special meetings. They should be the one that stand out for the crashing and no one cares about who's winning. This should be the sport part, and that is what it's become. It's the entertaining sport part, and long may that continue.
Yeah, well, this is it. You know, it's all about entertainment at the end of the day, isn't it? So, you know, they go out to entertain themselves as well as everyone watching. So, yeah, as long as we get enjoyment there, who cares, really? As long as the racing's good and everybody goes home safe. We have another preview coming up, and we'll go to the other Gallagher brother, Liam, Bears Bash, in just over a week's time.
It is, yeah. It's been long awaited. You know, not had the Bears Bash for 2 years now. From what I've heard, the Bears are sitting on some pretty nice cars for this. They always go above and beyond for their own bash. I mean, they've got to. It's their name above on the title. Apparently, there's 120 booked in so far.
Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah, 100.
Always is.
Yeah, it's about 120, about 25 juniors in as well, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But like, it's the complete opposite, really, to the BWS, because it's not a points meeting. You're not there for the racing as such. It is literally just an absolute crash fest.
And again, it must be said, completely in the right spirit. Every driver that's been there has got in with absolutely the right spirit every time. It's always been. We always talk about how there's nothing heroic about doing someone through the doors in the arm coat. There's something brilliant about joining the end of the jacket train square on, and then knowing someone's coming into the back of you as well. It's been fantastic. I've worked the last two. They've been brilliant. I'll be at this one. I don't know if I'll be in orange or I'll be in the stands. Either way, I'm going to have a great time. It was says, well, how many years in a row while the Bears Bash has been running that the Bears have won awards for their charity giving. They do so much. The meeting does so much good. That's the reason it's been postponed and moved back and cancelled last year, is because this meeting only makes sense if you can pack out Arlington Stadium. And do good for charity, and it's going to be brilliant. I mean, in our comment box here, we've got Pete Day, obviously one of the marshals down at Arlington. He'll probably be on pit gate for the day, and I bet he'll be absolutely buzzing as well for this. Yeah, I bet he can't wait.
I don't think anyone can. I mean, it's one of the most anticipated meetings of the year, and I've you know, it's the only one that I really talk to my dad about and say, you need to come down to this. It's incredible. I mean, I think the last time we had the Bears Bash on, Cecil and Little Jack, they both had limos, I think.
I don't know if Cecil had a limo. Did he have a limo?
He did have a limo for one.
He did have a limo because that was filmed for Scrap Kings, and he won the race despite being taken out of the corner because the red flags got, and he went back on account that. Because I remember the TV cameras were there. Because I remember thinking, this is a bit weird. Why the hell are they waiting in? Because I was on. I think I was on. I was on the corner with you, and it was just, why are the cameras doing it? It's just a bit weird.
It was our time to shine.
No, it's really good. Yeah.
I was going to say, don't forget as well, it's been a massive fundraiser for charity. They're using the Rocking Horse again. I think it's Brighton Children's Hospital is the main benefactor of the meeting, so I know it's all in a good cause, and everyone just seems to be there to do one thing, and it's not to win the race. I mean, if somebody wins a race, it's usually either last man standing or he's done an extremely good job of avoiding all of the people who want to have a crash. I mean, that's not a bad thing in bangers either. We discussed that, you know, a good driver will avoid the contact and use contact when necessary. But no, again, we're looking at another candidate for meeting of the year. So, it should be a good one, guys.
It's never failed to disappoint before, and I can't see it happening this time.
No, I don't think so.
It's never disappointed. I don't think I've ever walked away from a Bears Bash going, I'm not doing that next year. Yeah, I've never done it. And yeah, Chris Davis has basically turned around and said the same thing that we've said. They've got the right attitude, handshakes all round. And it's all for charity.
Yeah, and the car build rules as well. The car build rules are more like the 3 litre meetings we have, aren't they? They're not actual national banger build rules. They are Bears Bash build rules, which don't allow some of the strengthening performance stuff you'll see on modern and limited national bangers. It's more like the 3 litre meetings, where it's more
old school
in the preparation, which I think adds a lot to it as well, because people, and also everyone's taking their car, they're not expecting to take it home, which you don't often see in unlimited meetings these days, apart from maybe like Civil War or the 3 litre meetings or something like that. So or the pre-meetings, or you know what I mean. It is definitely one of those special meetings on the calendar. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm buzzing,
and it's not far away now. It's come round really quickly.
It has.
Well, like we were saying, it's important that we're back to racing now. We've had it taken away from us for long enough, so it's back. So appreciate it while it lasts. Hopefully we can keep going, but we'll avoid all the doom and gloom talk that we had the last time. So yeah, let's go. But we've a very busy fixtures list, guys. So shall we get going on that? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered that really well. It's been a jam-packed calendar, and how good is it? We've had a year of going, we don't know what's going on, or it's going up and down. This is really good. It's just really good to feel like we're back in the middle of a race calendar.
That's good. Again. Of course, and these are fixtures pretty much up to the end of August. As usual, check before travelling, not necessarily because of COVID. Some meetings have been cancelled for other reasons due to, let's say, clashes on the calendars or whatever. So yeah, if you've got a long journey ahead of you, make sure the meeting is still on before you go. But we'll start off with this week. This weekend, 7th of August at Ringwood Micro Bangers. The same day, Kings Lynn with pre-90 Unlimited and pre-95 Micros. Same day again, Tully Round for Micros. The day after, we've briefly spoken about it, was always a good one. Aldershot Unlimited teams. Same day, Wharton, Micro Banger teams, Summer Showdown, and Nuts Corner Unlimiteds. Then on to a midweek meeting at Skegness on the 10th. That's Siamese Bangers. Then the following weekend at Kings Lynn with Micros. Cowden Beath for 2 litre Bangers. Eastbourne for the Unlimited Bangers Bears Bash. That's probably another meeting of the year. But further north, it might give Liam a nosebleed if we went up. But Odsal is the Unlimited Bangers Euro 21 series. That should be another good one. The day after, the Sunday, 15th of August, Bar for the pre-90 Unders and Overs Great Northern Championship. Same weekend then at Stan Lake is the Unlimited Bangers Trigger Memorial. That's a weekend meeting as far as I know. And then at Wharton, Micro Bangers August Shockwave. Then again, another midweek meeting. Obviously, Skegness are good at them. Big Van Bangers. And the following weekend, Trent, Micro Banger teams. At Stansted, it's the Unlimited Bangers Townsend Memorial. And then a Great Yarmouth, it is Unlimited Bangers Banger World Series Round 5. Another meeting again at Skegness during midweek. 24th of August is Siamese again. Then the 28th, the Saturday, Tully Round for 2 litre Bangers. Crimond does Micros. Milton Hall for the Unlimited Bangers Suffolk Open. That's Scunthorpe pre-75 Bangers. And then a weekend meeting, as far as I know, it's the 28th and the 29th at Smallfield, Unlimited Bangers both days. Then 29th, which is the Sunday at Brampton, Micro Bangers, the 50th anniversary meeting for the track. At Crimond, all the way up the top of the country, almost, you've Micros. At Mendips, you 4-wheel drive and SUV Bangers. And then at Grimley, you've Micro Banger teams. Same day at Swaffham, you've Micro Bangers. At Stansted is the 1600cc Bangers Gary Shepherd Memorial. Full enough, a weekend meeting at Skegness. You've Unlimited Bangers Wreckfest. Again, another meeting that's going to be something else very eagerly awaited. Then the 29th at Wharton, we've 2 litre Bangers in the Caravan Race. And of course, being the bank holiday weekend, there's a few meetings on the Monday. On the 30th of August, you've Buxton Big Van Bangers. Same day at Brampton, you've Micro Bangers. So that might be a double check on my calendar. So again, check before travelling. Same day at Kings Lynn, the 30th, Unlimited Bangers. Sorry, Big Van Bangers Crash for Cancer 4. At Stan Lake, you've Unlimited Big Van Bangers. And then at Odsal again, you've 1600cc Bangers Championship of Great Britain. Let's check my list here again.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, so just got one in the comment box from Pete Day. I don't know if you said it because I don't know how you managed to get through that without passing out, Ed. That was amazing. on the 15th of August, there is also the Magoo Memorial at Smallfield. I don't know if that was part of the list, but let's give that one a plug as well.
Yeah, of course.
And on the 18th, you've got Goldrush at Eastbourne.
You have indeed.
Yeah, and somehow that missed my calendar. But yeah, like I said, plenty of meetings happening. Support them where you can, and obviously check before travelling. Can't emphasise that enough, given that I've given the wrong date on one of those. But yeah, it's like I said, it's good to be back for episode 60. Obviously, we're missing the dad of the family, Mr. Matt Josie. We'll drag him back kicking and screaming for episode 61 to talk about 60 podcasts, the good bits, the bad bits, and the really good bits, particularly bits where we get to mercilessly mock the dad of the family. Obviously, the kids are taking over this family, so that's what's important, really, isn't it? Have any closing thoughts on that, James? Being a very big part of most of those 60 podcasts.
Yeah, no, it's just been really good. I love these podcasts. I mean, we try and do them as regular as possible every 2 to 3 weeks. Unfortunately, as with a lot of things in this sport, either the sport itself and the busyness of it, or real life comes in the way. But everyone's been a pleasure, Ed. I mean, I know you've been host for probably a good 50% of them now, and they've always been a pleasure. It's not the first time I broadcast with Liam as well. It's always a pleasure to have Liam. Like I said, we joked at the start, but Liam, if it's as close to being one of the cage crews, makes no difference because of a lot of the stuff he does for us, and he's always available when we want, and we thank him for that too. I would also say as well, because we talk about the podcast a lot, obviously thanks to Matt Josie and Andy Watts, who started this thing before I even got involved. Huge thanks to Jordan Hollands, who's always been an excellent broadcaster when he's been on. Don Brock is professional way he talks puts me to shame most of the time. Thanks. I've already said thanks to you. I'm not saying thanks to you again.
Thanks. But no, we'll hopefully drag the dad of the family on for episode 61 and drag him kicking and screaming all the way through it, as in the only way he likes. We know he likes it.
Yeah,
he likes a bit of abuse from time to time. So yeah, he can't get it.
And I'd like to say thanks last and definitely by no means least to Bryson Walker, Brick 317, who. He's been on a few podcasts, but that's not his thing. His thing is the media side. The photos you see, 90% of them are from Bryson Uncaged. And so much work that he does. We wouldn't be Caged without him. You wouldn't be listening to us if he didn't do the work he does. So, last but not least, there are no words that I can say that I can express how thankful I am to Bryson Walker and everything he does.
That's good, and fair play to Brick. He works hard in, again, the background. We occasionally get him on, and he has as much enthusiasm for it in person as he does online or anywhere else. So yeah, we're a good team, and we'll stick with it. And obviously, big shout out as well to our friendly rivals, Northern Barnes. Danny and his guys do a good thing as well. So we help each other, we support each other, despite what a lot of people might say. But it only leaves me to say thank you very much indeed to Liam Horner for being dropped in at the last second. Thank you again, Liam. We hope to see you again on the Cage podcast soon with your irrelevant humour, and particularly irrelevant humour towards James. You quite enjoyed that.
No, it's really good.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry, before you said thanks, I was about to say, Liam, it's been absolutely excellent to have you on tonight. Hopefully we weren't making too many in-jokes between us two, and hopefully people at home enjoyed the little banter back and forth. But honestly, I can't say how much fun I've had tonight. It's been fantastic. Thank you, Liam.
I'm going to definitely cry myself to sleep tonight for all the forehead jokes. It's...
It's all right, mate. Don't worry. There's a load more coming Sunday.
I know. It's expected.
Oh, that's it. Well, just before we fully wrap up, don't forget, if you want to look cool on trackside, get yourself a Cage hoodie, Cage t-shirt, or Cage hat. You get them on Jacked Raceway. But it only remains me to say thank you very much to Mr. Orange Race Media himself, producer of the meeting. Thank you very much, James Keane.
Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you very much, Liam, like I've already said, and thank you very much to everyone listening. It's been a great one. All the replies we see in the chat box as well. There's been loads coming in today. They really do help the show, because we can see what you're thinking, and we'll read them out as long as they're not sweary. Because it's just really nice to know that you're out there listening and it's part of the conversation, and it really does make it worthwhile. So thanks to everyone listening.
This is it. I mean, we do it for you, and we couldn't do it without you. That is you, the Cage Nation. Thanks for listening in. This has been episode 60 of Cage Full Throttle. I've been Ed Fahey. Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you again soon.